What's up guys, it's Foxhound here at S204. I am the last person to do my arsenal video, but I figured I might as well get around to it when I have the chance. I'm going to start off with my weapon just like everyone else. This is a Tokyo Marui recoil shock. It is set up in a Mk18 Mod 1 configuration with the Madbull Dental Defense replica rail. Starting off with the attachments, I have flip up front and rear sights that are KAC style, replica hollow sight. We have a KAC style vertical grip, an ACM PEC15 that runs off of a rechargeable JST connection battery, which is unlike any other PEC15 I've ever seen. Oddly enough, the laser is, I would say, 3 times as bright as the ones that run off of the Y23s. So I have no idea who makes this or why it's this way, but it's pretty awesome. I have a Night Evolution dual switch that powers both the PEC15 and the M600 that's on the other side. The one gripe I have about Tokyo Marui is the plastic they use on their buttstock and their pistol grip is very, very cheap feeling. As soon as you pick it up, you're going to be very surprised that a $500 gun feels that way. And we have an ASAP style swivel sling plate that's by Lilacs. We have a DTAC 2 to 1 point sling. It's very simple, just 1-inch webbing, and on the end zone you see I have HK clips. So that helps me switch quickly between a 2 and a 1 point, because personally I like running my weapon in a 1 point sling configuration. It just helps me transition the shoulders a lot easier and things just don't get in the way as much. I switch it to the 2 point mode when I'm just, rucking or just want to chill out for a little bit. It's a lot more comfortable to hold it in the 2 point position. Internally, everything is just bone stock, pretty much shooting about 275 FPS, so what you can expect out of a recoil shock. And I modded the rear so you don't have to use the proprietary batteries, but you can hook up 7.4 LiPos on the inside of them with just a regular Dean's connector. Pretty decent range out of it, decent performance, nothing to write home about, but the recoil feature is something I really like, as well as the bolt feature. For me at least, I didn't really need the performance, but I actually like the functionality of having those extra features that make it a little more realistic, I would say. Moving on to other weapon systems I carry on me. If we're going to a national op or something where there's vehicles, I'll bring this. This is an Iron Airsoft M320. Didn't come with the buttstock or the flip down grip, but it did come with the sight, which actually comes in handy when you're using the tag grenades, because these things are actually very, very reliable and pretty consistent with where they'll drop the grenades. As you can see here, I have 2 different types. You have the yellow one, which is Reaper, which actually explodes and has some BBs in there, so it has a little bit of shower effect as well. And this is just a pegger, so it's an inert one that you can use just to kind of, I would say, practice your ranging and all that. These are actually lighter than I anticipated. They're made out of kind of a high density styrofoam. The tips are a little bit lighter. Cool thing with the tag grenades, as most of you know, is that they're rifled. So the grooves on the grenade actually line up with the grooves inside the shell, and it actually rotates in. When you fire, they will rotate out again. But like any other 40mm grenade, you gotta keep these things pretty well oiled. You gotta check the seals to make sure they're not leaking or anything like that. So for the most part, this is what I'll be rocking at most of the games we go to. But if we're just going to like an open play, of course I will not run this, because this is a little excessive. It's very heavy just to run around for fun with. So this is just for anti-tank purposes, anti-vehicle purposes at bigger games. Alright, next item on the list to talk about would be my plate carrier. I have the Crye JPC. This is just like the 1.0, so it doesn't have like the zippers or the detachable panels. The way I have it set up right now is kind of my standard setup, things what I bring to pretty much every game. Up front you see there's a triple shingle with 3 magazines. In front of that we have a Blue Force Gear 10-speed pouch, and this actually comes in much more handy than I would have expected, just sticking things in here like extra magazines, or if you have a tourniquet that you need to put in here. On the left side I have a ITW Fastmag. I used to have this upside down, but after trying to use it with a real GI magazine with 20 rounds in it, it would actually just slip out pretty easily, so I figure train like you fight, so I just put it up the way I would actually use it. Next to that we have a Crye Precision Smart Pouch. This is a 152/water bottle pouch. Inside you can see it fit a standard size water bottle fairly nicely. It's slightly, just ever so slightly too small to fit a full-size 32-ounce Nalgene in here. I've tried. Also on the left side, I have 3 just GI flashbang pouches. On the back one, I'll have a Thunder Bee, and these 2 closer where I can access them more easily. I'll have the small type Enola Gay smokes, because you never know when you actually need a smoke grenade to get you out of a bad situation. And I figure the only time we'll ever be using a Thunder Bee is if I have my teammates around me, in which case they can just grab it out of this pouch. Moving around the back even further, we have a TYR 70-ounce Hydro. We have an antenna right here. That's for the Baofeng radio with the relocation kit running all the way back to the pouch, which is a Milsim West Baofeng pouch. It has this little clip right here. You can undo it, so then you can flip it down and you can actually access your own radio. Unlike other pouches where you have to pull the whole thing out, you can just access it with it still being in the pouch, which is much more convenient in my opinion. And I have a hand mic running all the way up to the front onto the left shoulder. And right here we have just a Repro Crye style M4 pouch that can fit 1 or 2 magazines. Right now I just have 1 because I usually don't go through that much ammo during a regular game. As you can see, I have 5 magazines on my plate carrier right now, but if I wanted to, I could add another magazine to this pouch. I could add magazines to the Blue Force gear, or I could even use the 152 pouch as magazine pouch as well and fit 2 more in there. So I like to have my kit where the pouches have a little bit of versatility, so I don't really have to go around changing things too often. I just change what I'm carrying at that time, but I have the capacity to carry more without actually having too much extra bulk or anything going on. And up front you see I just have these patches right here, just pretty standard information, you know, blood type, name, you know, whatnot. This is an AWS patch. They custom made it for me, so last name, blood type. I have the same thing on my helmet. And then as well, I had to help route my camelback. I have just a rubber band that I've girth hitched into the webbing right here. It's a pretty cheap way just to keep things a little more organized. And on the inside, I have Appalachian training plates. Each one weighs about, I think, about 5.5 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. To kind of help with that extra weight, I have Pig Brig shoulder pads. I got the idea from the Extraordinaire, or Mark Ryan, as some of you know him. I thought it was a pretty good idea. First off, they actually fit super flush, so there's no extra like bulk or anything in weird places. It's very evenly distributed all across the shoulder pad right now, and this is actually at the smallest setting. So even if you had it open up a little bit more, you could still center it on the shoulder pads. Everything on here has a purpose, and more often than not, it actually has more than one purpose. It has a little bit of modularity without actually having to change any of my pouches. So there's no extra bulk going on, nothing crazy going on. Pretty standard setup, I would say. Talking about the belt setup now, I just have a padded USGI war belt. We have a Tactical Tailor roll-up dump pouch. I have 3 LBT 40mm pouches and 1 Eagle 40mm pouch. These all hold the 4 tag grenades I have, as well as a custom M320 holster that came with the 320. I got it off Facebook before they banned the sale of all airsoft weapons and whatnot. And that's just screwed onto a Blackhawk Molly mount. Fits pretty snug. It's very similar to the S&S style holster. There's a bit of a notch so you can put the barrel in, so that you can just kind of hook it in. So put the barrel in and then hook it back into the trigger guard area. On the back I have a panel of hook side Velcro, just so it can actually stick onto my rigger's belt a little bit, so it mitigates the amount that the belt can move up and down. For my helmet, I have an MSA ACH. This is actually the one I was issued. I have an Eagle cover on it, as you can see. These are actually very hard to find now. I spent a few months hunting one down. Obviously it has some built-in Velcro, so you can put flags and whatnot on it, and it has a built-in counterweight pouch. On top of that, you have bunny ears that are built into the cover itself, as you can see. Kind of at an angle. It's a very nice angle though. It gets pretty much everything in there that you would need. On the right-hand side of the helmet, as you can see, I have a Sony AS200V action camera. Painted it khaki just so it would blend in a little bit better. I like this just because it's a mix between a contour and a GoPro, in my opinion, where you can mount it on the side like contours, but it has improved video quality from contour, as well as having removable batteries, which is one of my criteria for it, because so often I would run the contour and it wouldn't fully charge the night before, or I didn't have time to charge it or whatnot, so I wouldn't be able to get video. In the back, in the counterweight pouch, is where I carry the spare batteries. Very easy to access. On the front, we have a Wilcox L4 one-hole shroud. It's actually a little more shiny than I would like. It's more of a gold kind of finish for the metal part of it, but it does hold very, very solidly. There's no slip or wobble, unlike the USGI mounts. That's because it's a lot more contoured to the shape of the ACH, as well as having little rubber stoppers on the bottom. And on the left side, just a Surefire helmet light. As you can see, it's the red and white light, kind of I guess a Ranger-esque looking bucket. Alright, just touching on the last few things. The gloves I use are Pig Alpha gloves. These are the first generation gloves I got from SKD Tactical. They have a little bit of padding where you need it, along the knuckles and along the blade of your hand. The only thing is that the durability might be lacking in the long term. The fact that they're so thin, I feel like my fingers are going to bust through them pretty quickly. We'll see how that goes though. On the right sleeve, most of us are going to run an American flag patch, stars facing forward, always attacking, never retreating. Below that, I have my favorite event patch, which is from Apex Pathfinder, the CAA back in 2013. I set up my patches very similar to what I would use on my ACUs. So, kind of like a BB Wars deployment patch over here. So event patch, flag, and then unit patch. And this is our ST04 patch. As you can see, it's kind of modeled after MARSOC patch, just because they influenced us heavily with our decisions early on, and we always look up to them. And in our left shoulder pocket, what we'll do is we'll keep our Milsim West tourniquet. As you can see, there's a red tab right there, so they'll indicate that it has a tourniquet in there. That's the easiest place to reach for us. Pretty soon, we're going to be doing some videos showing you guys our rushing kits, because we have, in fact, decided to go Rust for some events for Milsim West, just to be able to get that other side. So that is it for my Arsenal video. I know it's been a little while, but usually been pretty busy, and usually I'm the only one who usually films them. So it's been a little bit of difficulty lining up with getting another person to do it for me, which my brothers are gracious enough to help me out.